Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here, and today we're doing another Rekkles update. I know last week we kind of said that maybe throughout the season we'll be keeping up on Rekkles in the LFL. Obviously, I'm a really big Rekkles fan. He's a very popular player. He has a massive fan base, and now that he's in the LFL, the games are during the week. It's kind of weird. There's like small English streams. There's a lot of French content. It's a little bit hard for fans of Rekkles or EU fans or just fans of League of Legends in general to keep up with Rekkles and what's going on. So I think these videos are a cool little way to keep up with how he's doing, how the team's doing, and kind of track his progress. Not only going through the LFL, hopefully making it to EU Masters, but also his kind of progress back to the LEC as well. Because I think it's going to be a really cool story. So I think it's cool that we're here along the way. And that video did well last week. So hey, we'll try it again and see how this one does this week. I know last week we left off where Kcorp was 1-1 in the LFL, but Rekkles had a really couple of good games. Overall, he was looking really strong. But now we're going to check in with some new clips from him, what he's been talking about on stream, and how Kcorp's most recent games have been going. So definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this video. I would appreciate that a ton. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Consider checking out the first link in the description below for the merch we have going on. And with that being said, let's get right into this one. So I wanted to start with a couple of clips that Rekkles has had recently. He's been streaming a lot. I know he's talked about how now in the LFL, he should have a little bit more free time. He's going to be going back to Sweden a little bit more often, maybe even streaming a little bit more often. And I know like his management agency just tweeted out that they're starting up a Rekkles Clips channel. And if they're taking the time to probably, hire people to do the clips and the channel and the thumbnails and all that stuff. He's probably going to be streaming consistently. We're probably going to have consistent Rekkles clips coming in, and that's a really cool thing. So I want to start off by asking, or just going over this clip that asks the question, does Rekkles regret leaving Fnatic? Which I think is a really great question to ask, because obviously he's left Fnatic on multiple occasions. Neither one of them really worked out for the better in the end. Fnatic is still, throughout most of the time, even though Fnatic's had their ups and downs, they've been able to remain a top team. They've been, one of the more successful organizations in the West, and up there with some of the, more consistent organizations in the world. And Rekkles has found himself in the LFL, and I was like, hey, does he regret it? Is he missing Fnatic? Is Fnatic the one that got away? Let's see what he has to say.
I don't regret any of my choices, though. Like, with with the results in hand, the receipt, sure, I should have done things differently, sure. But then and there, like, when I made the choice to go to Elements, and when I made the choice to go to G2, I think it was the right one. Or for me, it was. And maybe, as I mentioned, I did an interview with Kcorp the other day where I talked about this. But basically, maybe I was too greedy, because I had a really good team in Fnatic, I had a good organization, I had a good thing going, everything was great, and I was greedy to get potentially a little bit more. Maybe lose everything, but potentially get 1 or 2 more %. Not worth, obviously. But then and there, with who I am, what I stand for, I understand that I did that. So I don't regret any of it.
So I thought that was really interesting. One, I think in general, it's like a saying in life that you're not going to regret the decisions you make. You're going to regret the decisions you don't make. And I think that's kind of, really makes sense here with Rekkles. If he had just stayed on Fnatic forever, maybe they would have been a good team. Maybe they would have kept making it to Worlds. Maybe they would have won some more championships. Maybe they would have made it all the way back to the World Finals. Who knows? But we do know that he had some very enticing opportunities and offers on the table. And with how things look, obviously Elements looked like an awesome opportunity. But even more recently, what most fans today are a lot more familiar with is that most recent G2 team. Rekkles, like you said, he had a good team, a good organization with Fnatic. He had fans that loved him, a team that loved him. He was in a good position, but G2 was better than Fnatic. They'd been better than Fnatic for the last 2 years. Everything out there told us that G2 was going to be better than Fnatic yet again. So when you have that information, and you're a guy who wants to win Worlds, if you want to win Worlds, you got to start by being the best team in Europe. So if you have an opportunity to join the best team in Europe, and your goal is to be the best team in the world, and you think you can join the best team in Europe and make them even better, How do you pass that up? How do you not do it? And if he didn't do it, say he stayed on Fnatic, and then G2 was as good as everyone thought they were going to be, say they go out and get Han Sama or something, they get some crazy 80 carry, and they absolutely pop off. Maybe they make it to the World Final again. Maybe they win Worlds. Maybe they win MSI again. Something crazy. Rekkles, that would be a major regret. That would be a major what if. But, going to G2, having it fail, obviously there's some regrets looking back, like he says, with what happened, obviously, he made the wrong decision. But I think enjoying the ride, enjoying the process, taking risks, taking chances, that's what life's all about. And it seems like Rekkles has definitely obviously made a ton of memories and had a crazy career. And again, he still ended up in a pretty damn good position with Kcorp, making a ton of money to play in the LFL. And then we have this clip about him wanting to return to the LEC, which I think is a question a lot of people had. You're in the ERLs now, you're on Kcorp. Are you on Kcorp for good? Are you coming back to the LEC? Are you coming back to the LEC with Kcorp? What's the plan? What's going on with Rekkles?
Yeah, I hope with Kcorp as well. This would be the dream. But one way or the other, I need to go back. I have a legacy to defend. They can throw me out for 1 year, but not more. I'm back next year. But I really hope it's with Kcorp. It would be a really nice feeling to go there together.
So that answers that question. There was some question of, hey, Kcorp is hopefully going to get in the LEC next year. The rumors are that the LEC wants to expand to 12 teams next year, and if they do, Kcorp gets a slot. Rekkles is already on Kcorp. Hey, they both make it back to the LEC. Everyone's happy. That's awesome. But what if the LEC decides to not expand? It's a crazy world right now. There's COVID. There's all these things going on. There's been rumors of expansion for years and years and years. What if they don't expand next year and Rekkles is still on Kcorp? What is he going to do? And it sounds like he is going to want to leave. It sounds like he's not going to want to stick around for multiple years for them to, maybe get added to the LEC, maybe for the LEC to expand or something like that. So it does seem like this is a one-off, 1 year, one-time opportunity for both Rekkles and Kcorp to make the most out of this. Again, like he says, if it works out where they can both go to the LEC, that would be awesome. That would be the best. He would love that the most. But if Kcorp does not make it to the LEC next year, if Riot expands to 12 teams, Kcorp is going to be in the LEC. But if they don't, and Kcorp isn't able to get in, it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens with Rekkles. Because, there were some questions about whether Wonder would be able to find another team and whether Mickey'd be able to find another team. And they've obviously been able to find teams. And especially if Rekkles has a good year in the LFL, what LEC teams are going to want him? What LCS teams are going to want him? I know he does specifically talk about the LEC here. So, would he consider LCS offers? How much are teams going to want to pay for him? What's the buyout going to be? All this crazy stuff. But it sounds like, Rekkles fully is motivated and has his sight set on getting back to the LEC next year. Even if that maybe means leaving Kcorp, which I think is very, very interesting. Now, speaking of Rekkles and Kcorp, here's how their games have been going recently. Again, last time we checked in with Rekkles, the team was 1-1. They started out with a win against Misfits Academy. They lost to Cody Sun and Mirage Elyandra, which is very, very funny, very, very interesting. But then they played against Team BDS Academy, a very, very good team, actually, which is kind of interesting. They have Crown Shot, they have Aggressivo, they have Zico. These are some names that we've, either seen in the LEC or seen thrown around the LEC about maybe getting opportunities here in the future. So this is a very, very good team. And for Kcorp to take them down, this is a big win. And a lot of their players stepped up in a big way. Seiken going 4-1-9 on the Rise, 1-1-3, 2-1-10 on Lee Sin. But here it is, Rekkles 4-0-7 on Ezreal. Super, super clean, super good game from Kcorp. 16-6 in kills. They just kind of dominated BDS Academy. And this was a very, very good win. We go into their next game against Gamers Origin to wrap up week 2. Kind of a tough one for Kcorp. Again, 16-8 in kills. They end up losing by 4,000 gold. This was a loss. And Kcorp struggled. They did not have very good scores in this one. 1-1-3, 1-4 on Diana, Hantera 0-5 on Thresh, Seiken 1-1-3 on LeBlanc, Cabochard 1-4 on Renekton, Rekkles with a 5-2-1 game on Vayne. He was trying. He's trying his best. He's trying to pop off, but you just see your team falling apart around you. It can really, really be tough. And we know Kcorp has a lot of young, inexperienced, kind of volatile players. 1-1-3 still really, really young, really talented guy. And Kcorp really needs Rekkles and Cabo to both show up, to both be good, to both be rocks in these games. If there's games where Cabo is going to go 1-4-4, those are going to be really, really tough to win for Kcorp. But again, on the Rekkles side, he was still good in this one. Still very, very good score on Vayne, good CS, good damage. There's always going to be the question of, could he have been a little bit more aggressive? Could he have carried this a little harder? I don't know. This game seems like it was pretty unwinnable overall. And then finally, their game against LDLC. This is a game that happened this week. Tomorrow they play against Solari. We'll see how that goes. But another not great game for Kcorp. They lose 12-3 in kills. They're down over 7,000 gold at the end of this game. Rekkles goes 0-1-3 on Jin, and not much better from the team. 2-3-1, 0-2, 0-4, 1-2-1. Another really, really rough game, and this is kind of interesting because this is DOS is on this team, Aka's on this team, and LDLC is looking really, really strong. When we check in on the LFL standings, LDLC is now 5-0 atop the LFL standings, and then here's Kcorp tied for 4th. I know they look way, way down here, but there's actually 6 teams at 2-3. So right now, kind of a rough place for Kcorp to be in. They're going to have to start playing better. They're going to have to start turning some things around if they want to, make a run at EU Masters, because there's some tough teams above them. Obviously, Kcorp at their best can play with the teams above them. They already beat BDS Academy. They got stomped by LDLC, though, so they have some ground to make up. They have some things to work on as the season goes on. It's still kind of early in the season, but, EU Masters is going to be here before you know it. And right now, Kcorp does not look like the best team in the LFL and does not look like a team that's going to be competing for an EU Masters championship in the spring at least. But again, on the bright side for Rekkles, we had this tweet from Shigenda where he said, wow, I have 6 more percent damage than Rekkles, and this shows the top damage percentage players. Sagenda leading the LFL for Vitality B and overall damage percentage. Aka's really high up for LDLC as well. Jekolad's really high up. And then we have Rekkles here at 31.6%. He is doing, I guess my head's covering it up. He is doing 31.6% of Kcorp's damage. That is a massive, massive amount. We know Rekkles is this play for late, scaling, DPS, massive, massive DPS AD carry. Even in the LEC, puts up crazy damage numbers, some splits, some games, some years. So, we expect the same from the LFL. But, this really shows that it's not necessarily, I'm not blaming it on Rekkles that Kcorp is 2-3. I think his team is really inconsistent right now. I think his team is a little bit rough at some positions, and they need to make some big strides pretty fast. We want to turn this thing around for Rekkles. But yeah, again, Rekkles trying to make his way back to the LEC, trying to pop off as much as he can in the LFL. But right now, things not necessarily going great for Kcorp. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Tell me to drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so, so much. Leave a comment down below letting me know what you guys think about Kcorp, Rekkles. Do you think they're going to turn things around? You think they're going to win EU Masters still? I don't know. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, save today, and all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.